Paola Jo from SederQuilts with a free motion Friday tip for you. I love Sketch. I've talked about Sketch before. You know I like this. If you follow me, you know I like Sketch. I use it to help me plan my route of travel for my stitching. I oftentimes will take a picture of a quilt and then I play with it in Sketch. And I like to figure out what's going to be the best way for me to travel and keep it going. And then I can add my little arrows and things. I've already got these pictures all worked up and figured out for you because it was just a little bit complicated. But what I wanted to show you was when you are outlining and stabilizing things for a background fill, there are lots of options, and I'm going to show you some of my favorite options for my pathway when I am trying to stabilize something. I like to stabilize first, the big things, and then go back and do my details, and then go back and do my fills. On this quilt, I want to have a lot of background fill on the cream. So this is all going to get stitched down rather tightly before everything is all done. And I want to leave the colored maple leaves nice and open so that they pop really well. I'm going to need just a little bit of detail in there, but I want them to pop, and so I'm going to put a lot of fill in this creamy background. But rather than starting with the fill right away, I'm going to stabilize it first. Here's what I'm going to show you. When you come through here, you don't want to outline the one leaf and then outline the other leaf and then outline the other leaf. That would be great if you were inlining. If I was stitching on the teal and I wanted to stay inside the teal, I would go all the way around the teal leaf. And then I would do the gold one, and I would switch colors of my thread. But when I'm trying to stabilize the cream background, I want to stay not quite in the ditch, but just a couple of stitches away from the ditch. And I'm using a slight wiggle ditch. I don't care that it's not perfectly straight. I just don't want it to get on the color. I want the cream thread to stay on the cream background. And it's very important that I cross over the intersections. Where I'm going to be stitching and coming back through this intersection right here. When I'm coming the first time through, I want to cross over, and when I come back, I want to cross over again. It'd be tempting to follow this gold leaf and come in here and come this way, and then come back, and then up, and then over. But then the thread would not crisscross, and that's very important because it gives me a nice crisp line, and it doesn't leave a little gaposis in there. So as I get to the next little swatch here again, I'm going as far as I can with each trip before I turn around and come back the next direction. And again, before I come back the next direction, I want to go as far as I can before I turn around and go the other way. Here again, this is another important little spot here. I'm working on the cream, and I would be tempted to make this line really straight and mess up this, but it's really important to stay on the cream, not get on the colors. So I'm going to come around the tip before I straighten out on this one again. You want to stay in those gutters, in those little ditches, and so I come around it and then I straighten out again, and then I come down. Now I have one little lonely triangle over here of creamy background. If I can stitch in the ditch really carefully and hide my thread, I can take care of this guy right away too. I can take care of this little guy right now, because when you're in a corner, you can travel all the way around whatever the item is, whether it's a square or a rectangle or a triangle or whatever, and you can come right back to your starting point and come back out again. I could do this one totally separate later, but then I have a stop and a start point. So I'd rather hide my thread in this ditch, come around and come back. And then I'm going to finish up. I'm going to be looking ahead and seeing, did I miss any spots? Nope, I'm just going to keep coming back. But again, I'm going to make an X, mark it with an X. I'm going to come through this intersection. I'm going to come through this intersection. And again, you can see the first time through I came one way, and now I'm coming back another way. And I'm going to crisscross in that intersection and keep coming. And again, I'm going to crisscross. I'm going to mark it with an X in that intersection. And that is going to give me a very nice defined space to come back and do my fill. It's going to be much easier to do my fill because I'm going to have a travel line around there. I'm not on the colored fabrics. I'm just cream on cream with my thread, and it's going to look really, really nice. So next time you are outlining your background fabric, pick the right color, cream on cream or whatever, and stay a couple of threads away from the actual ditch. When we're using a long arm, it's really hard to stitch in the ditch. And so it's more important to hide your thread with the right color on your background for your fills rather than staying in that ditch, because if you get one stitch onto the dark color with a light thread, it's going to show. You're not going to see the little bit of wiggle staying cream on cream. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. If you have any comments or questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Come back, see me again. Toodaloo.